Today, I'll be talking to a very good friend of mine who happens to be the CEO and co-founder of TechEra, a company with its focus on empowering the less privileged, especially people with disability, with digital skills.
Special Awards category Young Hero Derick Omari.
I decided that why don't we create a makerspace focused on developing assistive technologies to help persons with disability in Africa.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Thai Conversations with Ida Padikuor Na-Tei. If you are new to this channel, Thai simply means technology, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Today, I'll be talking to a very good friend of mine who happens to be the CEO and co-founder of TechEra, a company with its focus on empowering the less privileged, especially people with disability, with digital skills. I am fascinated about this initiative and how they go about it. And I hope as you join me today, you will learn something new. Derick, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's my pleasure. It's been so long since we met each other. Actually,
I know,
we
I
connect.
don't know, maybe 6 years,
Yeah,
7.
it's
It's
been
been a while.
yeah.
Yes, and I'm glad I get the opportunity to do this interview today and to tell the world about the amazing person that you are and what your company is doing, TechEra. And
Oh,
such a privilege for me.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, and I'm also been following your work, and I'm really inspired by all the stories that you share. And I'm glad that I'm worthy to to be part of the people.
All right, thank you so much. So let's get right into it. So, TechEra, what inspired you to start TechEra?
I think that when I get this question, it's always a struggle because many things have inspired me along the way. But if I should go back to what really got me to start TechEra as in TechEra is because I found myself in a blind school, and I saw that blind students where there were many blind students in this, of course, in the school, but there were only just two teachers, IT teachers, providing IT training to these students. And before that, I had already started TechEra as a project, and it was mainly to really help people build IT skills in communal areas, in communities and rural areas. But when I went to the blind school and I saw the fact that technology could be so important in their lives, and there are just very few teachers who were providing this knowledge to these many students, I felt this was an opportunity for me to be able to make things happen for these students. Because I just put myself in their shoes and I asked myself, if I was blind, how would I communicate on social media? How would I connect with my family? How will I be able to read the books that I love? How will I be able to do all the things that I'm able to do now? So why is no one ensuring that these students can have access to these opportunities, just as simple as using the phone? And so even though I started an initiative around providing digital skills, I think that TechEra's goal today really got me, I got inspired by that experience and that encounter that I had with the students in the school, and realizing that there could be more that they could do. The education could be more effective.
Yeah,
And that's how.
because from where I sit, it looks like the helping people with disability is more like your flagship program or projects.
Yes. I always say that that is the main thing that we are doing. The reason why we exist is to create access. And unfortunately, persons with disabilities have become one of the most marginalized groups in our world. But we forget that about 15% of the world's population is persons with disability. And so that's a significant number, right? So how do we, yeah, 15%. Yes. So how do we ensure that everybody can have access? So even though our goal, our vision is to create access, it happens that persons with disabilities tend to get a lot of attention because they are the most marginalized people in the world. But yes, we also create products that create access for different populations, not only persons with disability,
Okay.
even non-disabled persons as well.
Okay. So talking about your products, tell us about what you do as TechEra, your many projects, because I know you work on different things. I see them on social media all the time. So just run us through all your projects and what you are currently working on. So you can start with everything and then round up with your newest project.
Right. So I'll quickly say that we started with a digital skill training for persons with disabilities, and this grew into really venturing into education for persons with disabilities, providing an individualized educational plan for children with disabilities. And then we realized that assistive technologies were not available in Africa. About 90% of persons with disabilities don't have assistive technology. So we started creating assistive technologies for persons with disabilities, especially in education. And then from there, we now started thinking about how do we ensure that the work that we do is sustainable? Because with our work, the beneficiaries cannot pay for the services we provide. And so it was important for us to be able to start looking at mainstream technologies, but always putting emphasis on access. So we ventured into
Okay,
educational technologies. Sorry,
enterprise.
sorry, come again.
The company is more of a social.
Exactly. So we are a social enterprise. We are a text-based social enterprise, and the reason why we exist is to create access. And so we create access for teachers, we create access for students, we create access for school authorities, for parents, for homes. And so now our journey has evolved from just providing technological solutions and digital skills to persons with disabilities to now providing educational softwares, providing attendance management softwares, even providing household. We are currently about to launch a product that will help households track their water use and be able to order water in a way that they never run out of water. Water is such a big problem in Ghana, and so it's important to be able to provide that for households. And this is a wonderful intervention that we're about to launch. We currently just signed a very, very huge partnership that is going to ensure that people can have access to high, high care. And this partnership is so important because digital use, phone usage is growing in Africa and on the continent. And a lot of people who are blind, 80% of that could have been avoided because people don't have access to healthcare, high healthcare, and parents don't even take note of the fact that excessive screen time can have effect on their children's eyes. It really leads to a lot of problems. In the end, causing a huge
Okay.
burden on our health budget. So this technology is such groundbreaking, and it's something that we have signed. It's already in Ghana. It's an eye health app. So we
So
are venturing in many things. Yeah.
app for, is it people with disability or for everybody?
For every child, for every child. It's an app that allows parents to ensure that the rate at which children are using their phones is safe. It also protects these children online. How do you as a parent ensure that your child is not looking at something they're not supposed to be looking at? But also, how do you ensure that whilst they're using their phone to learn and study, they're not taking their phone too close to their eyes, they're not spending too much time on the phone, they're not studying in a dark environment, they are wearing their spectacles if they have to. And these are things that the app is able to help you as a parent do remotely, and we provide science-based reports and all that. Yeah. So our work has evolved in many ways. It's been an interesting journey.
Okay. So for the app, have you already launched? Is it available? What's the name? Or
Yeah.
you're yet to launch it?
So that's Plano is already in Ghana. It's on iOS and Android. Plano, that's the
Spell
name.
it. Plan.
Plano. So Plano app. So it's basically a parental control management software. But what makes it different is the fact that it protects your child's eyes. You know, all the parental control management softwares we have in the world are just mainly ensuring that the child is not looking at any, yeah. But this time
Yeah.
we are really looking at how do you ensure that the technology being used by the child is protecting their eyes, right? A lot of children spend massive hours on their phones, 7, 8 hours, 9 hours. Meanwhile, science recommends that children should not spend more than 2 hours. You know, so how do you as a parent help to regulate that so that you protect the eyes of your child? So that's something new that
Okay.
we've already launched in Ghana that we are currently working on alongside other things that we do.
Okay. So you mentioned a solution for homes, right? You spoke about a water management system. I am sure I've come across a nomination or a mention somewhere. What has been your progress with that project?
Well, it's been very interesting. Actually, this project came up as a result of personal challenges. You know how when you are living alone, you have a poly tank at home, you wake up one morning and then you run out of water without even realizing. So we're like, how can we
Mm-hmm.
be better informed? How do we know when we're about to run out of water, so that we can call these private water tankers early? And then it evolved and evolved and realized that, oh, we can actually provide the water service, so that we provide you with the water before you even run out. And we worked on the hardware, the software, the product has received very, very good commendations. We've already raised a couple funding through competitions. We won I think the African Social Innovation, Hardware Social Innovation Award from the American
Oh, nice.
Engineering Society, I think, yeah, just about 2 months ago. And we also won the Silicon Valley Donor Fund for Africa for that innovation, even before release. We received very,
Wow.
very, very high interest.
That's
We already have
impressive.
over
That's just one
200.
project.
Yes, that's just one product. We already have over 200 pre-orders and without any marketing, right? So clearly, it's a major, major, major problem in Ghana, and not only in Ghana, but across Africa, that we are really
Mm.
working very hard to optimize the technology. We have run several tests, we are improving the hardware, and we can't wait to share it with the world. And what even shocked
And I
us
can't
was
wait to see it myself.
that, well, we have some models online. So we could share that maybe in this interview for people to see what it looks like. But we can't
Okay.
wait to share with the world, because we realize that even in Europe, people want to be tracking their water usage, and the technology can work in oil and gas, water, and other areas. So it's very exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So one more question about your project so far. I realized that some time back, going to the beginning of your projects, I saw that you are training people in robotics. I don't know how far. I know there was robotics. I remember seeing robotics.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that? I saw that was for children at Brekusu. I
Yes.
think
Like
less privileged children.
Yes, like a lot has
Mm-hmm.
changed. It's been a whole, I think, almost 5-year journey since we really started. A lot has changed and we have learned. And one good thing that I think I've learned to do is to be flexible. Test things quickly, know what is not,
Mm,
and move on. And so when we started, if you
mm.
remember, I mentioned that we're training children in IT, in basic IT. And after training
Okay.
them, if we were figuring
Mm.
like what is the next level, and we're like, okay, why don't we provide robotics? And all this was free, but we realized the robotics was not working because the kits were very expensive. The children will forget what we teach
Okay.
them. And we were like, okay, what is the end goal, right? So it wasn't super sustainable, to be honest. And so we needed to
Mm.
figure out a way out. And especially when I finished undergrad and I needed to start thinking about how do I sustain this organization? How do I pay salaries? It became a low hanging fruit and it became something that we could easily go without. And so even
Okay.
though we still provide it in rare circumstances, sometimes schools call us and say that, oh, we want you to come and provide robotics training to our school. We are able to allocate time if we have time to do that. But at the moment, it's not a mainstream activity we are pursuing.
Okay, so you just spoke about how to generate income and all that. So does that mean that your apps and other things that you're using to help people, you sell them or they come at a discount or you have sponsors that are supporting your work?
So because we are a social enterprise, we run an interesting revenue model. Some of the products are highly subsidized for some of the target groups that we reach. Some of the products are also priced in a way that per your income level, you pay a certain price. But we work with many
Okay.
partners. What we are trying to achieve is to be able to sell a product that is self-sustaining, so it's able to fund itself. And let me be quick to mention that we're about to start an educational intervention that will ensure that children with disabilities are always in school. At the moment, about 88% of children with disabilities in Ghana are not in school. Now we need to think
Mm.
about how do we ensure that these students, when they are in school, their parents can pay. Unfortunately, most of the parents are single mothers who are not even working. And so once we're able to raise the initial funding, one of the things we want to do is to give small business loans to these mothers, give them business acceleration programs, and help them to build sustainable small businesses so that they can self-finance their children education and support themselves. So that's how we think about our interventions. We think that there needs to be a new model of transformation on the continent. We should get tired of waiting for funding and donor funding and grant funding. To how do we sustainably fund projects and innovations by ourselves and grow them locally. And that is for us, that is our focus as a tech social enterprise. We don't think that our beneficiaries are able to pay for the services. So we always look for alternatives to be able to make them sustainable. So we don't have a one-way revenue model. We always innovate and figure out what is best for what context.
Okay. So to the part that fascinates me the most. So how do you teach blind people how to use technology? Especially like people with disability, but then especially the blind people because they can't see. Do they use brailles? Like what exactly happens when they are learning how to use technology?
All right, so let me just explain this, that blind persons use the laptop, the mobile phone, like everybody else. The only thing that makes it a little bit different is how they interact with it. And here, what I mean by that is, instead of looking at the screen, unfortunately, if you're low vision or you are a totally blind person, you won't be able to see the graphics. So they use softwares like NVDA, JAWS, TalkBack, Chromebox that reads whatever is on the screen. And which is why it's important that the technologies we build are accessible so that these technologies can be able to read them in a way that will communicate the same message that you intended to that blind person. So they won't be looking at the screen, they'll just be using a headset or listening to their laptop speak to them or their phone speak to them, right? So every blind person can use the laptop, they can use their smartphone. Of course, they use Braille sometimes, but what we do is to teach them how to type. We help them to learn how to use these softwares, and then we help them to know some of the technologies available, and that is how they're able to use technologies.
Okay, so Derek, how many people have you been able to impact since you started? You started in which year?
Okay, so we started unofficially back in 2016 and officially registered as a
2016.
company in 2018. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I won't be able to keep track of all the people we have impacted, but I can definitely bet that it's more than 2,500 people. Persons with disabilities
Wow.
mainly. Not to talk about the clients and the schools you have worked with. Those numbers are definitely
Yes.
over the roof. But usually when I'm talking about impact, I just focus on the fact that we started working with persons with disabilities. So we've impacted more than 2,500 persons with disabilities. And then if we extend it to schools, we'll probably be skyrocketing more than 5,000 to maybe 10,000 people. And I think this is just the beginning. We are hoping that our technologies we are about to release a hardware for children. We hope that that hardware will be used by every blind student. We currently are selling pencil grips that are being, we sold thousands and thousands of copies to parents and children. Our home, the water monitoring level system, we are hoping that will be in every home. The goal is to reach 100,000 homes. And so the future is just bright. And with Plano currently, before we launched Plano, within a day we had more than 100 people who had expressed interest without just one person. So you can imagine the goal for Plano is to reach at least 1,000 downloads every week. So if we look at it even in the next 6 months, then it means that we are looking at almost 30,000 people. So the impact of our work keeps growing every day. And I think that for us, we don't want to just be in Ghana, but also go in other parts of African countries.
Okay. So, what has been your best moment since you started this journey? Like, what experience or what moment has been like your best, like unforgettable?
I think that many moments has, okay, if I remember clearly, there was a moment where we ran a very, I think 10 weeks training for young children with disabilities. And the goal was to identify their strengths and teach them something so that they use technology to amplify their strengths. And at the end of the event, we ran a graduation for them with their parents. And what surprised me was the fact that most of these children have never, ever had graduation in their lives. And not only that, but the output which they produce. So we had young man with autism who had speech impairment. We taught him how to blog because he tells very good stories. He now has his own blog which he writes with a lot of people reading. We had this young man with cerebral palsy who had motor impairment, who could not even write, now be able to type and write his name and communicate because he cannot speak. He needed to learn how to write so that he can communicate. Now he can communicate. We had another guy who almost seemed, a lot of times people don't think that there is something possible, like as if nobody, these children can't do anything good. Most of these people were programming robots and all that. And for me, it showed me the hope that we had brought to their parents and the hope that we have brought to their families. And I mean, I saw many of these parents cry at that event because they never thought any of this could be possible. So yeah, even though we are doing exciting things like creating technologies, putting apps available in the market, it always goes back to the original intent. How do we ensure that we bring hope to parents? How do we ensure that we bring hope to families? And the reason why we are even doing a lot of these revenue focused activities is not because we want money. It's because we want to be able to continually do the impact. We want to continually create more impact in that area. And for me, it's always exciting to see that.
Okay, nice, awesome. So I'm going to take you down memory lane to 2018 because 2018 was, I don't know, like you were just all over. You're in the news, you're on social media, you're winning awards left, right, center. So tell us about that year. If you don't say it well, I'll say it for you. So I'm giving you the opportunity to say it well. If I let you say it. So I
Well,
remember very well, you had to take an award with the Queen, and
yeah,
then you also had a presidential award, the President of Ghana at your graduation. And
yeah.
you had to be at the two places at the same time. And so your mother had to take the Ghana award, and you went to UK to take the award with the Queen. But you tell us, because that year you had a lot of nominations, a lot of awards, a lot of recognition. Tell us about 2018
It was
for
one
you
of
and
the
TechEra.
best years in my life. I think that it's always nice to see that people recognize your work, people celebrate you. And if I'm being honest, and I'm not trying to be modest, at that time, I didn't really feel like I'd done so much to be given all those mentions and like awards. And I remember on one of my interviews with BBC, I was shaking because I didn't feel like I had done enough to share with the world. And so it was always like a little bit scary for me to be out there. What if, who is going to probe about me? What will people say? Would they think I've done enough? It was very, very, like, I was very scared about everything happening because it was a lot of things everywhere, interviews. So yeah, that's how I was feeling at that time. But I think that it was a great year. And what happened? So as you mentioned, I met the Queen at the Buckingham Palace. My parents, my mom, was one of the best moments in my life to see my mom receive an award from the president at the university graduation, and one of the best universities in the world as a matter of fact. And I think why it's important to me wasn't because I was in the UK and my mom was receiving the award, but the reason why it's important to me was because my mom never thought I'll be able to make it to university, and
Oh,
yes.
wow. They
So
should have been very proud.
exactly. So for her to be able to not only graduate from university, but graduate from Ashesi and then have to go to Ashesi to receive an award to be celebrated, she became like the talk of town and all that. I think that was very important to me. And of course, opening up with the Queen's Award also brought in many, many awards as well. Um, I think at that year, I got the most influential person in science and technology. I was nominated for Future of Ghana, 30 under 30, many, many, many. I mean, all these things are past. When I look at them, I'm like, what do they see in me? Because I'm doing far more than,
You
than oh
everybody deserves.
well, I really do. But yeah, so I
That
just think that it was necessary, definitely necessary to go through that. But yes, I think all those things are great and past. There is more ahead of us. There is more impact to be made. Yes, and that's where I'm focused on.
so much, Derek. I find your story, your TechEra story, very inspiring, and I like the fact that you are passionate about what you are doing and about the fact that you are not really there, like you're not trying to create a business, but you're thinking about impact. How can we make people's life better? How can we give people access? Because I was not very privileged myself, so I want to help other people. I want to lift other people up, and it's only someone with a good heart and a sincere heart that can actually take up this challenge. And I'm very proud of you. I know everybody watching right now is very proud of you, and we love you so much. Keep up the good work and keep shining with your team. So your last word to my viewers, if you have any lessons from your journey so far or any advice that you want to tell them, the floor is all yours.
Well, you're making me look like an old man, but well, I'm still young in the journey, right? So I'm still learning a lot. But all the things I've just had to learn is that hard things are hard and things take time.
Mm,
Yes, things take time, and
okay.
it's important to always have a spiritual connection. And I think that it is what has kept us. When anybody hears the story and sees the awards and sees all the celebration and all the great things, it's very easy to it's very easy for you not to recognize all the difficult moments and all the difficult times and all the times that you felt like you should stop doing this, which happens every single day. And so I'll tell you that if you want to start something, it won't come easy. It is hard. And anytime you feel that, just I hope that my voice will play in your head that hard things are hard. If you really want to create a legacy, then you should understand that it's going to cost you for you to be able to create a legacy. Anything that does not cost you is not valuable. And so it's important to always have that in mind so that when that difficult moment comes, you still keep going. And also, don't be too hard on yourself. Things take time. Trust me, we have spent hours and days and months and years working on some products that have not even seen the light of day. Some of them have failed. There are many things we worked on. Some of them didn't even come out. Some of them too came out, it didn't work well. Some of them are out and we are still struggling to even put them up. Things take time. It took Google 20 years to be able to get to where it is now. And so things take time. And I remember Facebook in their first 10 years were running losses, millions and millions of losses.
Mm.
Even Uber is still running in losses. So things take time. What is important is that you stay consistent. You stay consistent with the vision. You stay consistent with the mission. You just stay consistent with yourself and keep fighting. And I think that's what I want to leave with your viewers.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you so much, Derek. It's been amazing having this conversation with you, and I'm hoping that maybe in the next couple of years we'll have you and host you on our show again. Thank you. We love you so much, and greetings to you and the team. Keep up the good work.
Thank
So, viewers, so this has been Thai Conversations with Derick Omari and the Tech Era team. All right, so I'll see you in the next episode. Love you. Mwah. Bye.